Peppa Pig. Playdate with Shadow Peppa. One sunny day, Peppa was sitting in her room. George was napping after lunch, Mummy Pig was washing dishes, and Daddy Pig had gone shopping. Peppa pulled out her sketchbook and crayons and began to draw. She didn't know what she wanted to draw. Her hand seemed to move on its own across the paper. Soon, a figure appeared on the page, one that looked just like her. But something wasn't right. The drawing showed a girl in the same dress, with the same ears and shape of head. But the figure was completely coal black. No eyes, no mouth, no details, as if a shadow had come to life and taken her shape. Peppa looked at the drawing, slightly puzzled, and wrote underneath, "Shadow Peppa." She smirked and whispered, "Now I have a friend who will never leave me." The next morning, the drawing was gone. The page had disappeared. Peppa thought maybe it fell behind the dresser or that Mummy accidentally threw it away. But when she went outside, there was a figure standing by the swings. The same one, the one from the drawing. Only now, it was real. "Shadow Peppa," Peppa whispered as she approached. The figure nodded silently. It looked exactly like her, but completely black. Even the eyes had no pupils, like two holes in a mask. Peppa wasn't scared at first. On the contrary, she thought it was real magic. She took its hand and went to play. They spent the entire day together, jumping, running, spinning. Shadow Peppa mimicked everything she did, silently. When Peppa laughed, the shadow would open its mouth, but no sound came out. George saw her and immediately started crying. Mummy Pig peeked out the window and froze. Outside, she said, there was only one Peppa. "Who were you playing with?" she asked later. "My friend," Peppa replied, pointing to the window. But there was no one there. Each night, things became stranger. The shadow began to appear in reflections, in the mirror, in the TV screen, even in spoons. Sometimes it would stand by the bed as Peppa slept. Sometimes it whispered to her. At first, Peppa couldn't make out the words, just a faint rustling. But then she started to understand the phrases. The voice sounded exactly like hers. "Give in," the shadow said. "I'm better than you. I am you." Peppa started feeling worse. She forgot where she was. She couldn't remember the names of her toys. One day, she called Mummy Pig by a stranger's voice. The shadow was now always nearby. It didn't leave. It sat with the family at the table when no one was looking. It appeared in the corners of rooms when Peppa was alone. And one night, it stood by George's bed, watching him sleep. Daddy Pig tried to talk to Peppa, but she wouldn't respond. Sometimes she whispered to herself, or to someone only she could see. The family grew frightened. The house got colder, lights flickered, and footsteps echoed in the hallway, as if someone else lived there too. The fifth day, Peppa vanished, simply faded away. In her room, only one thing remained, the drawing, the same one. It was now completely covered in black, but under the light you could still see a face, Peppa's real face with empty eyes. Mummy Pig screamed. At that moment, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Peppa entered the room. Same figure, same voice, but her eyes pitch black, and her smile unnaturally wide as if drawn on. "Mummy," she said, "I'm home now." Mummy hugged her, not noticing how cold and dry her body was, like paper. And the shadow behind her back moved on its own, out of sync with her. Later, George said it wasn't Peppa, but no one believed him, because she looked the same, almost. And the real Peppa stayed inside the mirror. She tried to scream, but no sound came through the glass. And every time someone looks at their reflection, she looks back, waiting to be seen.